Howdy, hackers, and welcome to another episode of FairLight TV. The two last episodes have been an interview with Black Shadow, and one of those topics that we touched upon was the relation with Swedish Cracking Crew. The infamous copy party in Gothenburg, where Swedish Cracking Crew suddenly showed up, and there was a bit of a tension because there was a dispute over a number of things, and I will have a look at a few of those things. It was claimed that Swedish Cracking Crew recracked or ripped two previous hacks by other groups, most notably by West Coast Crackers, and I would like to dig into if there is any truth in that, because that would reflect really badly on Swedish Cracking Crew if we could sort of show that if this was true, and it will reflect good if it can be proven that they had nothing to do with this whatsoever. So stick with me, and I will dig into the two games, Soldier 1 and Sigma 7. Stay tuned. The core of this episode is going to be looking into the allegation on West Coast Crackers accusing Swedish Cracking Crew of recracking their releases. So I will do a bit of very lightweight digital forensic stuff. And I've looked into this sort of open-minded. I didn't have any real position on the point before, because I swapped with both of them, and I didn't really have like a position on which one I favored. So I think you will find my work here rather interesting, because it will probably quite clearly reveal sort of the facts around this. And if you have other opinions on what I have found and can support that view with some sort of facts that will sort of indicate the different conclusion, then please let me know, because I'm most interested in finding the fact, not sort of only finding the fact that support one specific view. But that is what will come in a minute or two. The thing I would like to do first is revisit parts of the discussion I had with Christian on the formation of West Coast Crackers. Christian's initial view was that West Coast Crackers was established by the formation of that group from people from somewhere, and he didn't really know that. And then that the guys from WASP, the active part of WASP, joined West Coast Crackers, and then that afterwards they also gained this Kalmar part, the East Coast, joining the West Coast Crackers. But then we looked at CSDB during the interview, and the CSDB at the time sort of indicated something else, because it said that Ivanhoe, the founder of WASP, was also the founder of West Coast Crackers. And that stopped making any sort of sense, because that seriously collided with Christian's view of what happened. I think I have now sort of done my research, and doing my research in the context of me doesn't mean me having an opinion, looking at the net for anything that supports my opinion, and then presenting that as facts. It's open-mindedly looking for what the facts are saying, and the facts are saying that I should read the document The Legend of West Coast Crackers, which is sort of a writer file published by Mr. Pinge. And we will run that now. So I will change to the other screen here. You see I've loaded Legend of West Coast Crackers. It's distributed as a T64 file, so it's not just load and run. I need to fiddle with the tape settings as well. So we will now run Legend of West Coast Crackers, and I will run it in fast mode, because there's no need for us to wait for it to print. Okay. Here is the background. Sometime during 1986, Mr. Pinge, Wacko, and 007 founded Swedish Copymaster. 007 disappeared and Seb joined. Still the group Swedish Copymasters. Early autumn, Seb, Mr. Pinge, Wacko, HJ, and Nobody established the name West Coast Crackers. So sometime during summer 86 and early autumn 86, it seems that HJ and Nobody joined and they formed West Coast Crackers together. I mean, we can just guess because I don't know the details, but let's say that HJ and Nobody joined and they wanted a new name for the same crew. So it's basically the same crew gaining a new name when adding 2 new members. That's how I read this. Okay, and now the second part here. So in September 1986, Nike joined. He left ICE, so he could join West Coast Crackers, and Wacko disappeared. And then in October 1986, the members of West Coast Crackers joined. So here it is, black on white, no, actually white on black, that West Coast Crackers was formed by the original Swedish Copymaster members. The eastern part was only one person, Jan Svensson, Nike. He joined in September, and then a month later, Galahad, Lancelot, King Arthur, number 1 joined West Coast Crackers. So, and thereby killing Wasp, because there were no other sort of active members. These were the active members. Ivanhoe had focused on other things, and he was also one of the key initiative or energy sources in the group West Coast Crackers. No, he was one of the key energy sources in Wasp. And when his energy sort of drained to focus on the scene, that sort of made the other members of Wasp looking for alternatives, and West Coast Crackers was the alternative. So here we have a member summary. I hope you can see what this says. So Pinge, Seb, Nike, Nobody, HJ, Galahad, number 1, King Arthur, and Lancelot joined West Coast Crackers, and thereby killing Wasp. So Christian's initial version of it was very, very close to the truth. The only thing that was sort of not correct was the fact that Nike joined before they joined, but that's a minor thing. He remembered most of this perfectly correct. So there you go, and now we will look into the forensic arts of seeing if we can pinpoint the shameful recracking of stuff on Swedish Cracking Crew. Let's get over to the forensic part. Okay, now let's dive into Soldier 1. The tools I will be using would be, first of all, Total Commander, which is my main sort of file management tool on the PC. And then I will be using Dear Master by Elwix and the guys in Style. Sorry, Elwix and the Wiz. The Wiz is the main coder of it. And then, of course, Vice will be there as well. So, yeah, let's first throw in an instance of Vice. Okay, so Mr. Pinge. So this is... I'm first throwing in something which is the file. Soldier, One Soldier by Mr. Pinge of SCM. That will be Swedish Copymasters. So if you see here, it says something like this. And then if we go into the machine code monitor here, I hope this is visible. It should be rather small, but... here at 0920, you have 2080 Mr. Pinge Swedish Copymasters. So it's a clear indication that this file is by Mr. Pinge of Swedish Copymasters. I should just show you the directory as well. I mean, this is an artificial directory because I downloaded it as a PRG file, so it's a separate file, which means that the file is just well, the D64 that's mounted here is not really a D64. It's made up on the fly when you drop a PRG file onto Vice. So remember 168 blocks, because that's sort of relevant. We might as well make a note of AEA3, because that is sort of the end address of this file. Okay. I assume this was sort of the last thing that Pinge did for Swedish Copy Masters, and this was released just at the time that West Coast Crackers was formed. So what we have here is the next one. This is West Coast Crackers version of Soldier 1. And as you can see here, there would be two files. One is Soldier 1 and the other one is Soldier 2. So the second file. The first one is a picture file, or the intro of this. That one then loads Soldier 2. I'll turn off the joystick here. So let's load this one. Ooh. So you see here, it loads to AEA3, exactly the same size as the Swedish Copymaster one. Let's also do MO800. This one is slightly different here, because it says Loki and Diablo. And this is not because the game has been cracked by Loki and Diablo. There was a team called Loki and Diablo, and they produced a character packer, and that was sort of the standard line of the character packer. If you do a byte comparison with the version by Swedish Copymasters, the only thing that is different is this sort of start thing. So it seems that Pinge in a standalone version patched away the Loki and Diablo little string, but that was the only thing. But you can still see here that the West Coast Cracker release was also, it has the same Mr. Pinge from Swedish Copymasters. So here you have sort of a clear evidence that the West Coast Cracker release of Soldier 1, still done by Mr. Pinge, was the same as the one he did for Swedish Copymasters, only he added a little boot file, which is the just the picture. And reading the remarks on CSDB on this file, it seems that people aren't too happy about the picture. Okay, yeah, that was that. The interesting part here now comes with when I drop this. Soldier 1 by West Coast Crackers. No, we have already seen that one, so that's not interesting at all. Let's drop this one. Soldier 1 by Swedish Cracking Crew in 1986. It should also be Soldier 1 Trainer. Wait a minute. There is this little boot file, and then there is this file that is 168 blocks long. Well, if they use some sort of compression mechanism that would be the same, then it would be relatively the same. So it would make sense that the game would be rather sort of the same size. But this one loads to AEA3. And, don't we remember that number? Isn't that the same as the two previous ones? Let's have a look at 0800. That is actually the same. It's not the Loki and Diablo. It is this part where this is patched away, which is the original one by Swedish Copymasters. But let's roll a bit forward. Now this is not really looking good for Swedish Cracking Crew. Swedish Cracking Crew has a file of 28 blocks that loads another file, and that other file is the file by Mr. Pinge. There can be no doubt, this is the version by Mr. Pinge. They just added a little boot file which has their intro on it, and that's all. There is an issue with this version on CSDB, I should say that. There are 2 blocks broken in it, so it will not run, but you can replace it with the... if you just rename the Swedish Copymaster version, it will run fine. So let's run the Swedish Cracking Crew intro here. So, Forever Living Swedish Cracking Crew presents the Swedish game Soldier 1. Squeezed and compacted on the 18th of September 1986, will that be? Okay, so it wasn't squeezed and compacted by them. I'm sorry to say, but for me this is... full evidence that Swedish Cracking Crew just took the Swedish Copymaster version and added their own intro to it. No good. No good. No reference to using the original. And the issue with Swedish Cracking Crew here was that they were also really arrogant in their tone, and they were especially arrogant in relation to people like Mr. Pinge, called Mr. Punge, and Pung is scrotum in Swedish, so yeah, and also here, computer brains, go and squeeze yourself to your bloody motherfuckers. Yeah, really arrogant tone, and there is nothing that says who cracked this in this game, so as far as I've seen in the Swedish Cracking Crew cracks, and we have to presume that most of them are cracks, and this is sort of a bad apple, I don't think I've seen somebody referencing who in Swedish Cracking Crew did the actual crack. Alright, and it also says plus, so this one says it should be a trained version, and to be honest, I don't know where the trainer is. I don't know if you're supposed to know a special key or anything here, but yeah, Swedish Cracking Crew, this is shameful. This is not how it should be done, and I know this is in 86, but it's still shameful to this day. I suddenly found something else that I need to add to this as well. I hope you would find that this is also interesting. This is a crack by Multicrackers Sweden, MCS. Let's see if we can see their intro here. Cracked by the new Cracking Crew, Multicrackers Sweden. Again, no name referenced here. But they greet West Coast Crackers and Swedish Cracking Crew. I actually swapped with these guys, and so it could be that I am the Omega that they are referencing, because I think I swapped with Peter Karlsson. Peter? Yeah. Peter, I'm sure his name was Peter at least. Okay. I'm sure you can dig into the code and see if you can see anything more here. But wait, there is the file that is going to be loaded by this intro. So there is the setup of an intro playing and then loading a game file. That game file is 168 blocks long. I bet this one ends at AE A3. Dum da dum da dum. Okay, so this is the Loki and Diablo version. This is not the main file of Swedish Copymasters. This is the main file of West Coast Crackers. Well, to prove this, let's do bank RAM and then do M800, Loki and Diablo. And what do we find at 0920? Mr. Ping of Swedish Copymasters. So, Multicrackers Sweden also ripped this release by another group, West Coast Crackers or Wasp, and put a little boot intro onto it. It could actually be that, and this is just a theory. Swedish Kraken Crew was originally 3 guys: Zap, Covenant, and Inferno. And Covenant and Inferno being the brothers, and then Zap being Niklas, a guy who was a schoolmate of the younger of the brothers. And to be honest, I don't think any of the 3 had anything to do with this. I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt here. To be honest, I think the Multicracker Sweden guy joining Swedish Kraken Crew afterwards did this and, well, proved themselves that they had originals, or proved themselves that they could crack it, and possibly they even couldn't, so they did this and they got away with it, and that caused a lot of debate afterwards, of course, because I mean this is not a good version at all. That's not how you should do it. I mean, add your own little intro that just loads somebody else's crack. Okay, this is an addition I just wanted to share with you, so let's go for the next game, Sigma 7. Okay, the other debated release was Sigma 7, and let me first drop you this one. This is Triad's crack. It has nothing to do with the debate whatsoever. I just wanted to show you how the game looks. So Triad, Sigma 7, and I'll show you bank RAM B800. So here at under the basic ROM, there is this $100 reward if you copy this game. If your copy of this game does not have the word Durel embossed on the cassette, blah 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 blah, you should contact Durel software. So that is something that should be shown here. And then you should be receiving a genuine replacement. You have to press really gently here. Oh, it was £100. You need to press really gentle here, otherwise it will pass this screen and you will not see it. Okay, so this is how the game looks originally, and again, this is the Triad version. It has nothing to do with anything. Let's just see. Cracked for Triad. Okay, they patched inside of the game. Normally you wouldn't do that, but that's how they did it. Okay, Sigma 7, the West Coast Crackers version. So this was actually cracked by Christian, Black Shadow, that you've seen an interview with. So this is one of, I would imagine this is one of his first cracks for West Coast Crackers. And he used the slow cruncher. Okay, okay, here you see Sir Galahad of West Coast Crackers. So he changed this screen entirely. Broken on Saturday, the 29th of November, 1986. Hit the big one. That would be space then. And we ensure that we are on bank RAM, and then we do IB800, and here you see Sir Galahad of West Coast Crackers. So this is the screen he changed. He felt no need to have the reference to replacing the potential pirate copy cassette tape and send it to Durel to replace it with an authentic one. So that was Sir Galahad and his version of the game. And now we have this last one. Okay, so again, this is a separate PRG file. Let's load the separate PRG file. So on CSDB, it's actually me who referenced the Swedish Kraken Crew on this one. So if somebody would like to have a conspiracy theory that I'm setting this up, then I guess that feeds your conspiracy theory here. But so the basic line, Bugjam uploaded it, so I didn't upload this, and there is fierce discussion over this, and so for me, it's quite clear that the program that has Swedish Kraken Crew or SCC in the basic row should be the Swedish Kraken Crew version, and it sort of fits the description as well. So, 1941, could that be a Radwar cruncher being used for the purpose of this? Okay, Swedish Kraken Crew. Okay. I think if I press space now, it will not show that extra screen. But we should just have a little look. Bank. It's probably RAM. I'm just doing this just as a precaution. And then we do B800. Sir Galahad of West Coast Crackers. In a Swedish Kraken Crew release. Doesn't this smell like they have taken Galahad's version and then just released it under their own name? Let's see if we can... It still says this. Yeah. So the question here would be: is the Swedish Kraken, the version that has SCC on the basic line, is that really released as a Swedish Kraken Crew release, or is it released as something else? Because I mean, if you look at again, I should take the West Coast Cracker version again, and I should show you the basic line of that one. So the official West Coast Cracker release does not say SCC on the basic line, and it's not compacted with the same thing. So it says 1941 here, and it says and there is a sys, and it's an indirect sys. So I mean, this is clearly not the same version as the one that says Swedish Kraken Crew or SCC. I'm not saying it says Swedish Kraken Crew. It says SCC, but given the number of hate comments on the fact that Swedish Kraken Crew would have ripped the West Coast Cracker version, I'd still say that this is sort of an indication that this is the original, and the version that says SCC on the line is has taken the West Coast Cracker version of it. I'm leaving for you to have your own opinion about this. It would be easier if there was like a Swedish Kraken Crew intro or something on it, but that was not available on the version I saw. So if somebody else would have like a Swedish Kraken Crew version that we can clearly pinpoint to Swedish Kraken Crew, that would be most appreciated. So do comment down below or send me a personal message if you have any other information on this, because I'm really curious to get to the bottom of this. Thank you. Okay, just to give you a bit of a context here. This is a demo released by Swedish Kraken Crew, and it seems that taking West Coast Crackers down was sort of one of their key targets. No brain, no pain. West Coast Cracker member, kill West Coast Cracker. D-Rack and Explorers. I don't know who D-Rack is, but Explorers I know. Okay, we should, and you see here that I already looked at the. So, all tough stuff by Adroit. We should start here. The Swedish Cracking Crew proudly present a demo against the bunch of homos in West Coast Crackers. And back in the days, this was mid-late 80s. Calling somebody homosexual was just about the worst insult you can possibly give somebody. Nowadays it will be which I think is a fair development, but seemingly it was really important to tag somebody as homosexual, and I actually don't think that's even correct, but well, who cares. In reality, you aren't worth greeting. A hate demo from us. You are so small and stupid, but we just made one anyway, just to show that we are still around. Oops, sorry. Adroit did this. So Peter Karlsson in Gnosjö did this. Special bonsais to their friends, and special fuckings to, and this is where it starts. Mr. Punge. So pung being scrotum being, and punge and pinge being sort of the same. Yeah. Enuk. I don't know if that's him or if it's somebody else. And Grotti Marsvin. That's a guinea pig you paint with your R's. But also fucks to number 1. That would be number 1. So number 0. That would be number 1. Eventually turning to be Strider or FairLight. Fuck you. Yeah, thanks to that. Merlin. I don't know him. Sir Matglad, that has to be Sir Galahad. That would be Christian Lindeberg. Galahad. Matglad means glad for food. Don't talk about things you don't know anything about, you fucking homo. Yeah, and then it just goes on and on and on. Note, have you ever seen a cartridge cracked from Swedish Cracking Crew? So why don't you drop all the bullshit about that? Yeah, so seemingly there was also accusation of Swedish Cracking Crew using ice pick, and this says something about that as well. So yeah, you should download this and read the text for yourself. It's really testosterone infused teenage ranting, trying to kind of self-promote in a way which is annoying but somewhat entertaining still, because it's so it's so over boasting anything that you can possibly imagine. Do read this yourself. I'm going to leave you to it. That was everything for today. I would say that the conclusion of this must be that Swedish Cracking Crew did release somebody else's version of Soldier 1. For me, that's crystal clear. And I would assume that the original 3 Swedish Cracking Crew members did not do this. It was somebody who joined Swedish Cracking Crew from Multicrackers Sweden. And I would like not to pinpoint my very contact who was kind enough to greet me in the in the releases, but I would still think that he or one of his very close friends in Multicracker Sweden could be the prime suspect of this, not the original 3 guys. Looking at Sigma 7, it's more difficult because everything we have is that the program has SCC in the basic line, and it sort of indicates that it is Swedish Cracking Crew. It's clearly a patch of the very same file that Black Shadow cracked for West Coast Crackers. Because I didn't say that during the part, I just saw that afterwards. But all the version ended on C255, so they had the same ending address. It was clearly just a little patch of the basic line that was the difference between the 2 versions. And if somebody from Swedish Cracking Crew did anything with this, or it was somebody else who patched in SCC. I cannot tell for sure. I'd say it's highly probable that it is Swedish Kraken crew doing this. And again, I don't think it's one of the original 3. I would give them the benefit of the doubt. I think it's more one of the new members with a lower sign of moral code on what's right and what's wrong, and probably with less competence of actually doing the cracking. But again, the first one is Soldier 1. It's quite clear. Sigma 7 is less clear, but for me it's clearly pointing towards one direction, but I cannot say it firmly. So if anybody would have other information around Sigma 7, or have a version that's clearly said Swedish Kraken crew in sort of any way, like a spread disc by one of the Swedish Kraken crew guys with a note saying, here are our new stuff, including Sigma 7. And then I would very much like to have a copy of that disc. So please let me know if you have anything on that, and please comment down below if how you find this episode. Was this interesting for you, or would you like us to focus on something totally different? So thank you so much for watching, and looking forward to meeting you and discussing something else in the next episode of FairLight TV. Bye bye.